Hello everybody, I am Ro2501 and once again we're in Robocraft Infinity and I'm going to just show you a few of the bots that I've been tinkering with since the Big Boom update, and then the combat footage of a couple of those bots as well. Starting with this one, it's the standard like mech frame that I use. It's just covered in a ton of lasers and moves decently quickly. I really like that frame and kind of wanted to see how many lasers I could put on it after the most recent update, and yeah, I managed to get 9 on there, and I didn't have to really cut too much off of the bot originally that it was there, but yeah, it turned out okay. He does all right. I just use him every now and then when I'm like messing around with the frames or whatever, or when I'm messing around with this mech frame, take off some of the lasers and put other stuff on there as well. I do have a test version or a test frame of this bot that you can see, but this is the main like damage frame, I guess you could say, that I use. This is the main mech frame that I usually either do the most damage with or get the most kills with, or both. It really good maneuverability, very high damage, and decent health. I ended up coming to this frame originally because it looks like Mech Warrior or Battletech, which is something that's old like me, and just kind of stuck with that frame because it seems pretty versatile. It usually absorbs a lot of damage, and you can put the various kinds of legs and stuff on it, so that's why I ended up with it. But yeah, I love that bot. This used to be my helicopter bot or my chopper bot, but after the update it kept getting annihilated, so I just stripped everything off of it and returned it back to its original rectangular frame, and I'm gonna try and turn it into like a old like a prop plane type of bot. This is a tank frame that my friend is working on, and hopefully we'll get around to making a video with his crazy creations, but that's one of them. It's a tank frame, then he beefed it up quite a bit. This is one of my other standard frames, I guess you could say. It's my crawler frame, or my spider frame, or spider bot. There's footage of this one, and you'll see exactly why I made it and or really like it. This one also does very good in combat usually. It's extremely maneuverable, and has a ton of health because the core of that whole bot is nothing but high health building blocks. This is just a copy of that same frame, so I can test different weapons out on that particular frame. This one I downloaded because I'm a huge Gundam fan, and someone made a bot that looked like the original RX-78-2 Gundam in the Gundam 0079 series. So and then I just added the legs and the radar and the lasers. It's pretty cool. I haven't used it yet, but it just looks pretty. So this is the last frame. It's my tank frame or tank bot. As with the crawler, it also has its advantages. It has a ton of health, and usually no matter what direction you're driving in, it goes the same speed. The mech frame, when you walk, it does get slower as you stray for jump or turn in certain directions and stuff like that, but the tank frame and the crawler frame goes 100 miles an hour no matter what direction you're crawling over, in, diving. It's awesome. The other thing about this particular tank is it can literally just spin in a circle, like on it can turn on a dime, and it's just extra maneuverable, with a ton of health and decent damage. The pretty lasers that are on this frame are the cosmetic version of the second highest damage laser that you could put on a frame. Plus, it just looks really cool. These next bits are just the combat footage of the three like standard frames that I use: the mech frame, the crawler, or the mech bot, the crawler bot, and the tank bot. I'm also joined by a Robocraft Infinity friend. He's actually a viewer from one of the last videos who left comments and wanted to start playing. He's Dusty. He's the one that's listed right below me at the very bottom there. He apparently has been playing this game a long time and is really good at it. He's given me some really good information on like buildings and damaging and stuff like that. But if you can see that crazy thing in front of me with all the bubbles and just stuff coming off of it, that's Dusty's frame. It's got a ton of cosmetic items on it that, one, look awesome, and two, just look super crazy. Like the bubbles flying off of it and all that stuff. I'd never seen that before, like until I'd seen his like cosmetic bot. Not only that, he does a ton of damage. When we've been playing together, usually it's either one of us at the top of the damage chart, or the kill chart. But yeah, he looks awesome. Like, can't get over the whole bubbles flying all over the place. But this is my mech frame or mech bot with the third highest damage laser on it. And as you can see, it just kind of plowed through some of those smaller ones, because the smaller ones usually tend to have lower health because they're using the less blocks to have health in general. Super maneuverable, but unlike the tank and the crawler, as you could see when he sidesteps, sometimes he does tend to like need to get up to speed, so to speak. But one of the other things that I really like about using this particular bot is, well, even if you get your legs blown off, your lasers can still shoot. His damage is very like it's very predictable. Because of the way I laid them out on that bot, there's always so many lasers that are firing at a target, and if they're right in front of me, they're all firing. It does really good against flyers, which are slowly becoming like an epidemic in Robocraft Infinity since the update. Like, the skies are filled with these things. Some of them are actually quite hard to hit, like that dude. He's one of the more effective players that I've seen to use the blink module that's in the game. I couldn't quite get him, chasing him down. Once he blinked away, it was kind of... I shouldn't have kept going, but... yeah, flyers all over the place, but yeah, this particular frame, it can beat him back or kill them. This poor guy. Small frame, crawler bot. Kind of gets stuck in the ground, it looks like, and then off he goes. That crazy noise is somebody's locking onto me with rockets. And one hits me eventually. Thanks to the update, the legs that I'm using there on that frame jump way further than they used to, and they're way more stable. As you can see, the backflip I just did. I mean, even though he is getting mauled, he still almost killed the bot he was originally aiming at. Like, he does a ton of damage. And he doesn't trip as easily as he used to. Like, the smaller, lower to the ground frames used to be able to trip these straight leg frames or bots. Made that flyer think twice about coming into where he was coming. And Dusty's over there with that shield and bubbles just mauling people. Yeah, before the update, I wouldn't have been able to walk as easily up that mountain as I did a moment ago. Pretty much would have just walked up it and tipped over. That dude had no idea I'd crawled up the mountain. Yeah, that can't get over how awesome that looks. How wild it looks too. That's Dusty's frame right there. The flags and bubbles flying off of it. And what I hadn't realized up until this particular point in the match was we were tied and it was 1 kill away. But if you can look there on the damage, you know, he did more damage than I did, but I was, you know, second place. But same thing with the score. We were both, he was first, I was second. That's typical with when we play together. He sticks with the one bot that he has for very obvious reasons, because one, it's really cool, and two, it just really mauls people. This second bit, it won't be a full match like the last one. It's just going to show you the main couple of merits for the crawler frame or the crawler bot that I have. And all three of these matches, Dusty's in them as well. So you get to see his bubbly, crazy bot.
Team deathmatch. Kill the enemy team to win. The first
And this bot,
the target total win.
I love the noise it makes when it moves.
For Birmingham Power Station has begun.
Like a bunch of people hammering on metal or something like that. It's really crazy. And this was me trying to crawl up that structure, which is possible. The only thing is you have to be, you know, parallel to the ground for the legs to grab onto it. And those were my poor attempts to do so. I will eventually do that. It just takes a second. So the main weapon for this spider frame or crawler bot is that minigun that I'm firing right there. It's one of the more, I guess, higher DPS guns that I've seen. If you're just using the one like I am, you can fire it for quite a bit before you end up running out of energy like I did there a moment ago. But you can see a little bit of the whole how he can stick to almost any surface. But the main thing to take away from what just happened is there were 3 people shooting at me all at once, and they still didn't manage to kill me because of how much health this particular frame has. And again, that's because the center section of that thing is nothing but the higher health building block. And this is the main reason that I made this, because I wanted to crawl up buildings and shoot people that didn't know I was there, like I'm doing to this poor dude. His partner obviously can see me, but he had no idea where I was. He finally realized it once I came off the side of the building. So I wasn't able to kill him, and I do get annihilated, but it takes 3 of them constantly shooting at me to kill me. That's how much health that frame has, or that bot has. That's why I made it so big, because a lot of the other crawler bots that I've seen or were seeing are very small, and they were very fast. But usually, you know, they got killed quickly, or I killed them quickly. That's why I went as big as I did with that center section. Covered it with armored plates, all kind, you know, and then put just as many of those high health building blocks in the center as I possibly could without sacrificing damage, which I managed to find the medium for eventually. And I do have like a test version or a copy version of that crawler bot that I've been putting other guns on to test to see which combination might work with it still working out the bugs on some of those. The last bit here is just going to be my my tank bot, or my tank frame, and it's using the third highest damage laser in the game. But the lasers look a little different, like I said earlier, because they're using the cosmetic version. And there goes Dusty again, his awesome cosmetic bot. Bubbles everywhere. So this one, as you can see, like a bit ago, like how he just kind of turned in a circle on himself. Its other main advantages are its health. It has a ton of health, like the crawler frame or crawler bot, because there's a bunch of the high health cubes in the middle. The other advantage this thing has is, beyond its mobility, is the lasers, the way that they're mounted on that kind of flat surface. No matter what direction that I drive in, 4 out of the 5 lasers will fire, or they will all fire. So basically all the lasers are always firing, no matter whether I'm going forward, backward, sideways, doesn't matter. It also goes the same speed no matter what direction you're going in. So whether I'm going forward or backwards, the lasers will still shoot, and the frame or the tank will go at the same speed. So I know I can outrun most things that are shooting at me, even if it's multiple people shooting at me. And me and Dusty are just cleaning through those the flyers on that other team. You see how it literally does just turn on itself. Like, I love how that thing can just spin in a circle and really not go anywhere. A very tight turning radius, which also makes it really easy to get away from things. And even while I spin like that, same thing. I won't lose any damage output because the lasers fire due to their flat positioning, I guess you could say. The mech frame that I have, it's very dependent on which way he's facing, whether, only 4 lasers of the 9 are firing or 5 of them are firing. Basically that mech frame will do the most damage it could possibly do when something is right in front of it. This thing will do the most damage it can possibly do no matter where. Whether I'm shooting up, down, sideways, doesn't matter. Also, as you can see, there's a ton of people wailing on me, and I still haven't died. And it's due to those high health cubes that are in the center. So, I mean, I almost killed that second flyer that I was shooting at. And it took all 3 of them just constantly wailing on me to finally kill me.
Teams are now even. All previous team buffs removed.
I just love the maneuverability of these tracks, and as per the name on the box, so to speak, it's using the level 3 or the 3rd best track movement that's available for building. There's the ostrich legs, there's the straight legs, and then there's tank treads. There's wheels that don't turn for some reason, and then there's wheels that do turn for some. There's 2 different kinds of wheels. I don't know why. One set of them can turn, and one set only goes forward and backwards. Very weird. But anyway, yeah, tank treads. It's got 4 tank treads, as opposed to just 2, like on a real tank, how it's just got the 2 treads. It's actually got 4 pads, with the treads on them. That's why it spins on a dime, or turns on a dime, so to speak. You can get the same kind of turning radius or mobility out of a race car, which I'll probably show you eventually once I figure out how to tune that guy up a little bit. But hopefully you enjoyed this, and watch out for flyers. They're everywhere now, all over the sky.